Hello Uddingston Old young people, how are you today? I hope you are having a good week, and I'm sorry it's a bit noisy just now because we're at the church and we're just finishing off a cross for remembrance, and I hope you've been able to make some poppies to put in our church ground. Boys and girls, Remembrance Day is a very special day. It's a very sombre day, which means it can be quite sad, quite serious, and what we're doing is we're remembering people who have given their lives, whether it's through war or being injured, or who served in the Army, the Navy, the Royal Air Force. And what we do on Remembrance Sunday is we gather together and we remember, we reflect, we think about poppies, but unfortunately because of COVID-19 this year we're not able to gather, and so we're having our own wee memorial service. So if you still get time to come down and place your poppies, you can do so. Okay, boys and girls, I want to show you a wee video all about what a poppy is, what it means. So get yourself comfy and I'll see you in a wee minute. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
The Poppy Story. The First World War, or the Great War, started in 1914. The British Empire and their allies, France, Russia, Italy, and America, fought a war against Germany, Austria-Hungary, and the Ottoman Empire. Millions of men joined the British armed forces and went to fight in the war. The conditions were terrible, and millions were killed or injured. Those that did return home would never be the same again. One of the largest battles of the war took place around the town of Ypres in the Flanders region of Belgium. While serving in Flanders, a young Canadian soldier called John McCrae noticed how bright red poppies grew wild amid the war-torn landscape. Despite the devastation that surrounded him, he was inspired by the poppies that grew there to write the poem In Flanders Fields. His poem became very popular, and the bright red poppy would soon be adopted as a symbol to remember all those who had fought in the war. The First World War ended at 11 o'clock in the morning on the 11th of November, 1918. This was the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. The war had lasted over 4 years. The 11th of November every year is called Remembrance Day or Armistice Day. After the war ended, people started making paper poppies to sell. They sold poppies to raise money to help the millions of sailors, soldiers and airmen who were coming home from the war. These people are called ex-servicemen and women, or veterans. On Remembrance Day, people wear a poppy, and at 11 o'clock in the morning, the same time the war officially ended in 1918, there was a 2-minute silence. This is for people to remember all the veterans who have served their country in a war, not just the First World War. Remembrance Day happens every year around the world. The poppy isn't the same everywhere. Some countries use different designs for their poppy. In England, Wales and Northern Ireland, the poppy has 2 petals and a leaf. But in Scotland, the poppy has 4 petals and no leaf. All the poppies sold in Scotland are made in the Lady Haig's poppy factory in Edinburgh. The factory was founded in 1926 by Lady Haig, the wife of Field-Marshal Douglas Haig, who was the commander of the British Army in France during the First World War. When the factory first opened, all the poppies were handmade by just 2 ex-servicemen with some red paper and a pair of scissors. Today, there are over 40 ex-servicemen with disabilities who work in the factory. These men make 5 million poppies every year for the Scottish Poppy Appeal. They also make more than 10,000 wreaths and tens of thousands of wooden remembrance symbols. These include Christian crosses, Muslim crescents, Sikh kandas, the Jewish Star of David, and a symbol for humanists. All the poppies are still made by hand, although a machine now cuts out the poppy shape. The ex-servicemen make 2 types of poppy. A poppy with a green plastic stem, and a stick-on poppy. When all the poppies have been made, they're packaged up with collecting tins for the money, then sent to our volunteers all over Scotland. Every village, town and city in Scotland has volunteers who donate their time for free to sell poppies in their local area. Poppies are sold in lots of places. You can find them in shops, supermarkets, offices, schools, factories, churches, and hospitals. Volunteers collect the money made from selling poppies. They also hold fundraising events like jumble sales, cake sales, and races to raise even more money. Thanks to their hard work, our volunteers raise millions of pounds from the people of Scotland every year. All the money that's made helps ex-servicemen and women in need after serving in the Navy, Army, or Air Force. We also help their families, their wives, husbands, partners, and children. We help with house repairs, wheelchairs, and specially adapted vehicles to help them live in their own homes for longer. We also give money so they can retrain, start their own businesses, or grow an existing business. And we give advice, information, and support to deal with any problems that may be encountered along the way, helping them rebuild their lives. All this from a tiny poppy.
Boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed that wee video all about the poppy, and that's why we have to make poppies. We can colour them in, we can knit them or crochet them, and look down here, these poppies here came all the way from England. I wonder if Adam can zoom down. Well done. These ones came from England, and these are folk who have came and placed their poppies and they belong to the church. So it's great because in the church as well you'll see a communion table that has names of folk who have died in the First World War, and it's so Remembrance Day is a very important day, as I said, and it's about remembering our loved ones who are no longer with us, but also who have gave their life in service to protect our country as well. Boys and girls, we're going to say a wee prayer just now. Okay, so I want you to close your eyes and let's speak to God. Dear God, we thank you that we're able to gather wherever we can to remember those who have served in the conflicts, and we remember those who have lost their lives and those who are recovering from the various wars that are happening around our world. But Lord, all of us want peace. We want peace, and to have that peace is we have to listen to each other. We have to find common ground, which is really difficult. But Lord, you help us. You gave your Son for us, and we want to think about how we make our world a better place. So Lord, whenever we gather, let's take time just to remember, to give thanks, and also to thank you for caring for each of us. So Lord, hear our prayers. Amen. Boys and girls, my time's just about over. So I hope you have a good week. Remember, you've still got time to come down and put your poppies in our garden, and you'll see from the video there's various poppies place around our church grounds, which is lovely. So boys and girls, until we meet each other soon, stay safe, and I'll speak to you later.